Hi, my name is Darren Smith. I'm the co-founder of Empool. I'm giving you some quick training on growth-driven design, allowing you to quickly get your growth-driven design certificate and really make sense of the growth-driven design training. I still recommend that you take the time, 13 hours, to watch the full series of growth-driven design training by Luke Summerfield, but this will give you a really good foundation to start from. If you have any questions, just direct them to me on Twitter. My handle is @DarrenSmith. All right, so today we're looking at managing your wish list and your action item cards. So let's just start off with a couple of definitions. An action item card is a place that describes an idea or an experiment for a change on your website or, in fact, your marketing. And then a wish list is a collection of all these action item cards, and they should be ordered in at the top of the list, the most high impact items, and the bottom of the list, the most low impact items. So here describes the lifespan of an action item card. It initially starts off with an idea. And this may be literally something that came to you while having a shower, and you just jot that idea down on a action item card. As I mentioned previously, it's really important that you continually sort and prioritize your wish list. So these ideas or action item cards are going to be sorted from highest impact to lowest impact. For all of those that are at the high impact stage, you're going to want to turn those into hypothesis statements. I'll go into a little bit of detail just now about what a hypothesis statement is and how to write one. The next stage that you take that card into is a rating stage, where you kind of rate how difficult this task is going to be, how long it's going to take, and so on. After you know that, you can go into your planned experiment stage. So what is the experiment that you're going to set up to test your hypothesis and your idea, your initial idea that you had? Because you need to be able to check with the users whether the idea you had was actually a good idea and whether you should keep it in play or try something else. From there, you actually go and build the items, and in this stage, you break down your card into specific tasks for developers, for writers, and graphic designers, and strategy people. Once it's built, you go into your learning stage, which is where the planned experiments are run, and you stay in your learning stage for as long as you get the results you needed. And then last of all, you go into your results stage, where you look at what happened. Was my hypothesis statement correct? Was my idea a good idea? Should I keep it in play? Should I remove it? Should I try a different experiment? So always be recording your ideas down and then taking those ideas through to conclusion. All right, so I'm going to go into some of these stages in a little bit more detail. So here's the sorting and prioritizing stage. So as I said, order these items based on the impact they will have, and identify which one of these, and usually it's the high impact ones, because moving the action item card into the next stage is a little bit more work. So you want to take the items that are on the top of your list and go into the hypothesis statement stage. In the hypothesis statement stage, essentially what you need the questions you need to answer is, what persona is this change for? Is this idea for? Is it for all personas or a particular persona? What behavior is the persona doing? Are they visiting? Are they clicking on something? And what is it? Where is it that this persona is clicking? Is it on a page, a tool, an area on your website? Is it a blog post, as an example? Then what is the status quo item that you want to change? So what is it that the idea that you want to test something new against? And then what is it that you want to change it to? So what is that new idea? What is the metric that will change with this impact? So how are you going to test whether this idea actually increased something, and or maybe the objective is to decrease something. What is that something? And then why do you believe that this hypothesis is true? So here's just an example of a hypothesis statement in practice. So you can see here, for Marketing Mary, that's the persona, visiting the home page. So what they are doing is they are visiting. The home page is the current page that you may want to change. We believe that changing the funnel tool graphic, that's the thing that you want to change, into an interactive and linked graphic, that's what you want to change it to, will increase the home to product page task completion by 5%. So that's the metric that you want to track. And then it says, we believe that this to be true because of research or previously validated assumptions. So that's why you're saying why you think that this might be true. Once you've got your hypothesis statement, you can go into the rating stage. So first of all, you may want to change the impact slightly, but it's going to come from your initial impact, but it's either going to be low impact, medium impact, and high impact. 99% of the time, you're going to be working on high impact items. Then you need to indicate what effort level this requires. Is this a low effort level, like you just have to change a word on a website? Is it a medium effort level, or is it a high effort level? And what's really important in terms of growth-driven design, or any website design, or any kind of marketing, inbound marketing as an example, is to have a different process that you follow based on whether it is a high impact and whether it is the level of effort. So for example, if it is an advanced change, you may want to do wireframing, high fidelity mockups in something like InVision. You may want to do user testing and write new copy. If it's just an intermediate change, you may want to just do a hand sketch of what it will look like, go straight into design and optimize existing copy. And if it's a basic change, you may just want to select a template to work from, migrate the work onto this new template, and just do a bit of style cleanup. So in this table over here, you can see here's the effort axis and here's the impact axis. So something that's high impact and high effort will be the advanced process, but something that is low impact and low effort will be the basic process. And there's the bits in between. This will also allow you to price more effectively. So you can go and see how many pages of a Launchpad website, as an example, are advanced pages versus how many are basic pages, because an advanced page requires a whole lot more work than a basic page. Same with your marketing. You may do an analysis of social media and come up with a whole bunch of recommendations. Some of those recommendations are going to be high impact and high effort, so you need to go follow the advanced process, where some of them are low impact and low effort, which means you can simply just go and change a social media profile image as an example. Once you got your ratings, you moved into the planned experiment stage. So what is the experiment that you're going to test, that you're going to run to prove the hypothesis is not true? So it's way better and way more strategic if you aim to prove the hypothesis wrong, as opposed to trying to improve it right. It really just changes your mindset, and because you can always use research you can always manipulate research. So if you're trying to prove something is wrong, there's less chance you're going to manipulate that research. Then you go and select your research method or multiple research methods, quantitative, qualitative, observational as an example. There is a training video on research which goes into details around each of those. Identify how you will measure this experiment, whether it was successful or not. And then record what is the planned outcome of your experiment. If that hypothesis was correct, then should you leave this experiment live? Make it a permanent change to your website or your marketing. If it was incorrect, do you roll back? If the experiment was inconclusive, do you continue testing, or do you come up with a different experiment or a different way of testing to get a result? Once you know how you're going to test this experiment, you move on to the build stage. So in the build stage, you take all the information you have, the hypothesis statement, the experiment you're planning, and so on, and you break down the action item card into things that need to be done. So what needs to be done, who needs to do them, how long will it take them, and don't forget to list any obstacles that you anticipated and how you're going to solve those obstacles. Once the experiment is built, you then put it live and this experiment is in play. And you are starting to learn about how users are engaging with this experiment. Let it run until you're confident in the results. So this may run for a few days, it may run for a few weeks or a few months, to see if you are confident in those results. But remember, this is an experiment, and it may be made permanently live, roll back to a previous version. It is just something that you test in whether your users like it or not. Last of all, you go into the results stage, which is where you record the measurements that were actually made. You highlight what was learnt from the experiments. You record any future actions or recommendations. There may be other experiments or ideas that you come up with as a result of this. For example, if you're changing the homepage to an interactive graphic and that really worked, you may want to change other graphics throughout your website into interactive graphics. You may want to continue running this experiment. You may want to commit the changes or roll back. So here's an example of an action item card canvas. So you can see it has an owner. What is the impact? Where in the website hierarchy are you currently? The focus metric you're trying to target, and how much effort is this? Then you have your objective of your action item card, the hypothesis statement, your experiment design, your build, so who's going to do what, when, how long, the possible obstacles and the solutions. Then moves over to the results, and you can see in this example the result was successful. And then you can have here what was the baseline data, what was the variation 1 and variation 2, and you can look at the prediction, the actual, and the result. And then what have we learned, and what are the future recommendations? So just to reiterate here, where do new action items come from? They come from the strategy brainstorm, they come from client requests, they come from growth-driven analysis, and they come from results of other experiments where it gives you ideas as you look at those results. So that concludes the wish list and action item cards training. Go over to our YouTube channel to see what's next. We have a full series of growth-driven design training, these short 10-minute classes that enable to get you started with growth-driven design. So I hope you're finding this useful.